Technology One budgeting provides you the ability to do income budgeting. Let's take a look at the income budgeting part of the process and how we can use this to do our income budgeting. The first step, we need to open our relevant budget pack from the My Budgeting tile. So for this example, I'm using the training budget pack. So we start on the home page, we click on the ACMI, we go to My Budgeting, Due Later, Training. So once the pack is opened, I'm directed straight to the Income tab. As for your particular budgeting practice, the income may not be the first part of the budget that you prepare. Please follow the instructions of your relevant FFM or PMA for more advice on the process as it relates to how your faculty or department work. Basic orientation of the screen is that we have the edit button in the corner. We have the additional menu next to it. And below we have the active tiles that provide us with the different functionality. In the middle here we have the data grid, and the data grid allows us to show transactions, group them together, and do all of our budget related activities. On the right we also have the custom settings for the data grid. So let's start with the edit and save process. Normally what happens is when you get into a budget pack, it comes in read-only mode, which it's currently set to now. The budget, though, it will remember what stage, edited or saved, that it's sitting in, so that when I come back to it at a later stage, it'll be in that same condition. In order for the reports to print correctly, though, you need to have saved your data. Simply to put the pack into edit mode, we click the edit button so that we can make changes to our budget. After that, you can do one of two things. You can save your changes because you're happy with them, or you can drop the list down and discard changes. It's up to you. The next part of this process, once you have put it in edit, is that you can go and use the data grid. So the data grid's initially set up in a project grouped way with the management groups below, like so. So from here you can drill down into the transactions themselves and see the items against which you'll be budgeting. If you are looking for different views of the information, or you're searching for a specific transaction, then you can modify the look and feel of the grid to do this. First process is you can change the group that's being used as a default on the grid. The easy way to do this is go to the triple dots and go show and hide grouping. This allows you to completely remove the groups and use the raw information like Excel, or you can click and drag the columns that you want to group onto the grouping row and set the grid how you like it. Note that when you leave the budget, this will reset back to default. So you can take them off and use it like Excel, or you can pick up a particular value like natural account and you can group by that. Or you could take something like our management reporting codes. It's up to you. But when you close out and you open back up again, it will reset back to the way it was. The other thing you can do is use the grid search to find transactions for you. The default search is a base search, but if you drop down the arrows, you can get to more advanced search. So say I wanted to search to all the M1RV17s, I could go and work out what the field's name is, management reporting. I could say search, I can go add, I can go management reporting code is equal to M1RV17. I can go OK, I can click search, and it will only give me the search criteria transactions that I was after. And if I want to clear that, I can drop the list down and I can cross this out and I can go OK. I can hit search again and it'll take me back to where I was. To customize columns, you can use a triple dot icon to select the customized columns. This will allow you to remove some of the columns that you don't require or add columns if you've taken them away. As we have some fields frozen on screen, the suggestion is not to remove those columns. So the way you do this is the triple dots, customize columns, and you can add columns from the left-hand side to the right, or you can cross columns out from the right to the left. So I might want to take portfolio out and hit OK. And what I find is the portfolio fields are now missing. If you want to reset the changes that you've made, the easy way to do it is to just back out, open up the grid again, and it will reset back to the way it was. The last thing you can do is you can use more screen space for the grid by expanding the grid, and it will take the tiles off the left hand side and it will use all the space. The caveat to this is that all the settings that you have on the left hand side are missing. The only settings you can use are selectable settings. So to make any changes like saving, you have to close it down to its normal size, save changes, and continue on. So apart from customizing the grid, the basic functionality of the grid is as follows. Everything that is highlighted in a different color is read-only data. It's data that's supporting your budgeting activity. Anything that is in orange text has an action. So as you can see, I can view an attachments and view audit. The manual, I can drop down a list of the particular activities. I can data enter into the budget entry. And the other data here has links to natural accounts or projects or GL related transactions. You can see there is a lot of supporting data, but there's also some specific data relating to the budget entry. Additional to the orange pieces and the read-only pieces and the editable pieces, we also have the ability to make changes in bulk. So if you wanted to highlight multiple rows, you can tick multiple rows. What you then can do is drop this list here, and it gives you a list of particular actions that you can do against those particular fields. So I can choose to change my spreading methods in bulk. I could clear balances. I could reverse the balances. I could change by a percentage. I could change by an amount. I could change by the line total. I can change by a period amount, or I could copy from comparatives and add a percentage. So if I wanted to say, put in a number and say my budget number, add 2% and take away 3%, I could copy from comparative and say percentage minus 1.1 and get myself a result. There's also functionality on the right hand side to export. Okay, so let's get on with the fun stuff, which is the actual budget entry. So budget entry is driven essentially by two fields. It's driven by the budget entry field and it's driven by the spreading. These two fields allow you to enter your budget amount for the line, or your spreading frequency, which is how you're going to spread the value across the 12 periods. If I was to give you an example, I could say I'm going to put the system in edit mode. I'm going to say $50,000 into the budget entry. I'm going to spread it methodology wise by straight line. It'll give me all the straight line values, or I could say days in month. and when I tab across, it will basically spread those items across the lines by the days in month. Alternatively, I could work from periods and have it total up into my budget entry. So I could say 5,000 here, I could say 20,000 there, I could say 80,000 there, and it will total up for me. So there's various different ways that I can use the system to either do it from a period-based activity or to do it from a total and use the spreading method. Please note a change from your standard practice from the previous budget activity. You will see that all the numbers in the income screen in the budget module are positive. This is on purpose. The system knows how to interpret the financial nature of the numbers, and it makes the income numbers negative when it posts to the ledger. So you do not need to know the debit nature of the income numbers. The system knows, and it will do the right thing with them. Okay, so once you're happy with your numbers that you've entered against your budget, you can save your changes. Then you can go on with doing your other budgeting related activities. You can then run your reports. Then you could change your budget to approved or waiting approval or whatever you want to change it to. There are a couple of administrative functions though to consider as well. They're on this drop down list. The first one is what I've just mentioned, which is the set status, where you can group your budget packs at their status. So if they're in progress, if they're waiting approval, or if they're approved, it helps you work out how much you've done and how much is left to do. The recalculate is important as well. It's used when you want the grid to go and recalculate the generated numbers. This will give you an added level of confidence that everything has updated correctly and should be done probably once before you run your final reporting. The last thing on that list is add accounts. In certain circumstances, you'll need to add a natural account to your budget that you've never budgeted against. Please talk to your FFM or PMA about those account codes and what that means to your particular business unit to create that code. Thanks for taking the time to watch our demonstration on the income budgeting process. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to engage with your FFM, Faculty Finance Manager, or your PMA, Portfolio Management Accountant, or a finance person for further information. Thank you.